Hey, buddy. Buddy!
You got me mad now.
Filled with moments that'll fill our brains for quite some time. We'll do our best to take it all in, let it marinate, and do some outstanding podcasting. That's what we're about to do right now. It's what we try to do every week right here on the Wrestling Compadres SlamCast, y'all. Welcome. If you're watching on AfterBuzz TV, thank you. If you're listening on Podcast One, thank you. If you're listening on iTunes, thank you. This is going to be, we don't have enough time to talk about everything that's going on. There's so much. Your silence, Scott.
The operative word in your opening was the try.
The try. We're going to try our best, and it doesn't matter what day you're listening, we appreciate you.
Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday.
Any one of those days. We thank you for listening. Let's get rolling right now. Let's do the intros. A lot or watching. We appreciate that. There's so much going on this week. Man, talk about overkill. We had Saturday night, Sunday night, Monday night, 3 massive events. I'm a little exhausted. It was hard to keep up with everything. Why are you not talking? You're just being silent.
The general rule of a podcast is, Johnny, if someone doesn't introduce you, you don't say anything.
All right, we are at Wrestling Buds on Twitter. We're Facebook.com/WrestlingBuds. I'm at Jay Quasto. Let's get to everyone in the studio. First off, that man is back from Houston, Texas after a couple weeks sabbatical. You can find him on Twitter at CRice17. He is Chuck Rice.
He's a man.
What's up, man? You got your hair slicked back?
Hello, good sir.
You just come from the gym?
No.
Okay.
No. Just the hair's gotten super long, and like if I don't put it up, it's something that falls down into my eyes. It's long as hell now.
Rock it out. Get that rock star look.
You know I'm trying. See, it's nice to be back in here with y'all.
Exactly.
So much happened.
A lot going on, and what a weekend it was. Let's get it to the other gentleman in the studio. Dale Rutledge, he's going to join us. Dale Rutledge will join us in a minute. He's getting back to a place where he can actually talk on a telephone, so he's going to call in very, very soon. That man right there, he is the host of the Curtain Jerks podcast, as well as the 16 Bits podcast. Find him on Twitter at Curtain Jerks. You know he's Scott Narver.
Scott Narver, he's Scott Narver. Curtain Jerk Compadres, always there to save the day. Scott Narver, he's Scott Narver.
You officially have your own intro song, my friend.
What was that?
I got an intro song created for you.
Was that Willow?
No, it was not. No, it was not Willow.
Oh, was that Jeff Jarrett?
No, it was not Double J. Jeff Jarrett.
What, was that the Honky Tonk Man?
No, it was not the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time. It was not Honky Tonk Man.
Oh, man, I'm going to keep guessing.
Keep guessing for the whole rest of the show.
Okay.
Do you like it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm flattered.
I was going to surprise you with it last week, but I wanted to get the finished product done. One of our amazing podcast listeners was nice enough to do it. He said, "Do you need anything from me?" I said, "Yeah, I'd like to give Scott Narver an intro song." And that's what we did.
And now you have one.
Well, hell yeah.
Indeed.
And now you're allowed to talk too.
Yeah. Wow.
And I wrote the lyrics.
You did? Mm-hmm. Wow. Mm-hmm. I am beyond impressed.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chuck.
You son of a... All right, so let's get off. Let's get off that little Scott Narver tangent.
Let's get off, Johnny.
Let's get off Scott right now.
All right. 3 days of that in the Barclays, huh?
Yeah, there we go. First off, the blood drive for Children's Hospitals coming up very soon. If you live in the Los Angeles area, please call 323-361-2441 to donate. I'm going to be there. It's going to be an amazing event. Or just hit me up on social media. I can sign you up September 11th and 12th. Please do what you can if you're going to be in the LA area. It's going to be a great cause, an amazing event. Secondly, what were your overall thoughts? I know you were in Texas and you had an interesting weekend, I believe, right?
Oh, very interesting.
Do tell.
Well, I got to go to Booker's show, which was fantastic. As you all heard, I mean, I got to talk to the Lockhart brothers on the show a couple weeks ago.
Summer of Champions was dope.
You know, but still, Andrew's also made me promise that I'll always mention him on the show from now on. So here it is, Andrew. You're being mentioned.
What up, Andrew? Andrew.
Yeah.
And both of you, I still want my crazy Zumba pants. I'm waiting.
Oh, Jesus.
But that show was amazing. Afterwards, got to have dinner with Stevie and Devon, of all people. So, I'm sure we'll get to him in a little bit on the show.
We're going to talk plenty about Devon and now Bubba Ray once again. Because
my favorite.
I didn't see that coming. Damn.
But you know what? There was one thing that happened while I was in Texas, which kind of sad but kind of cool too, was one of the reasons I was down there was helping my uncle out. As there was that big flooding in Houston a couple months ago that really just knocked out some of the city.
Sure.
And his home was destroyed during it, so we were trying to go through all the stuff and found boxes of stuff from when I was a kid and like first starting to work in wrestling, of all just like wrestling memorabilia.
Really?
A lot of it got destroyed, unfortunately. I had to be tossed out. But a lot of really cool autograph stuff, pictures, CDs, DVDs, just really cool stuff that I have no use for anymore. It's been in boxes in Texas for years.
Okay.
So I think I'm going to start doing something, working with some people to set up a charity to put it together and donate those items.
Donate the stuff and maybe to people who might want to
hopefully
that's great.
Raise some money for a charity. So that's kind of the goal with it.
I'll applaud that. Absolutely.
Yeah, tons of stuff. But it was a really good time. Got to see Booker, Charmel, Stevie, Hardcore Holly, Devon, all of them at the show.
Congrats to everyone at the Reality Wrestling roster for putting on a great pay-per-view. It's amazing a year has passed since the last one.
And congrats to them. They just moved up to a bigger TV network, too.
Really?
They're going to be airing on the CW in Houston now.
Jesus, we got just applause going everywhere tonight.
Yeah.
I love seeing that. Well, speaking of, moving on up, we're going to get Peter Avalon on the line in just a minute. This past Sunday, Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, we had our 5-year anniversary show. And I'll be honest, I was a little nervous about it because it's SummerSlam Sunday. That's a hard time to put on an event, and we pulled it off, man. We had a really packed house.
Hanging from the rafters?
Not hanging from the rafters.
Hanging from the rafters.
That would be dangerous, Scott. We don't want anyone hanging from the rafters. But we
harnessed from the rafters.
Harnessed from the rafters. Yes, that's what it was. I strapped them in and I let them hang there for 2 hours. But it was great. We had a full house and the matches were phenomenal. It was so fun to call them. And we had a champion versus champion match. It just so happened to be a coincidence that SummerSlam had the same thing. We had
they stole Championship Wrestling from Hollywood's idea.
All I know is I'm assuming the champion versus champion, that was decided for us months and months ago. So whatever WWE did, that's fine.
Stole it.
But we had Pretty Peter Avalon. He was already our television champion from about a month ago. And then Yuma has been the Heritage champion for about the past month. And they've had a rivalry going back to 6 years ago before our show even started. They kind of came in together. They were kind of friends, but they always had this kind of like hatred thing for him. And then Yuma broke his hand. And then from there, it was a full-fledged war, going from tag team titles all the way through this match here. And it was just, it was so amazing. The match was phenomenal, and now Peter Avalon's our double champion, and it couldn't have been more well-deserved, which is pretty cool.
It's really cool to see like a company like that's lasted for 5 years, too, with, especially with some of the talent that they've lost over the years going up to, a TNA or WWE, that they've still continued to survive through that.
We keep on pushing, and speaking of which, we happen to have our double champion on the line right now. You can find him on Twitter at P Avalon. He is now the television champion and the Heritage Hollywood champion for Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. He's also been there since day one. He's one of my besties. Please welcome Pretty Peter Avalon to the show. What's up, my friend?
J-Lo, what's up, man? I'm happy to be here. Can you hear me good?
Man, we hear you so good.
Oh, sweet. I love it.
So let's get into it. We already gave kind of a bit of a backstory, and to people who don't get to watch the show, because it's available online. So if you want to go to patreon.com/United Wrestling, you can sign up for super cheap and watch every episode. But you and Yuma had a crazy rivalry the past 6 years, and how it all culminated to our 5-year anniversary. I mean, you were not only there since day one, you were in the very, very first televised match in our show's history versus Colt Cabana. Needless to say, you didn't exactly come out on top. But
not at all.
Yeah, you had hair down to your shoulders.
Yeah, I was a handsome punk kid. But I went in there with this attitude, and Cole Cabana, he taught me a lesson, man. He beat the hell out of me.
Yeah, he definitely did. But look at how far not only the show has come, but look how far you have in the last 5 years. We're about 215-ish episodes in. And did you ever think you'd have a chance to be holding both titles? It's kind of crazy if you think about it, because, you know, Adam Pearce is a former champion. Cole Cabana is a former champion. You know, we had Yuma, we had the Hobo. I mean, holding both titles, that's incredible.
I never thought that I would hold both belts. It was always my goal to try to hold gold, and when I achieved that with the Heritage Tag titles, it felt like a dream come true. And then when I got the TV title, and then now the Heritage title, I'm a Triple Crown champion of GWF.
You know, Johnny said you kept the rivalry going for 6 years. Was it right, Johnny?
Yeah, basically.
How do you keep? I'm just curious. How do you keep a rivalry fresh? How do you keep the fans interested for that long of a period?
Well, partially because Yuma's always a dick. But go ahead. What's your answer, Avalon?
That's true. He is a dick. For 6 years, it was very competitive because it was throughout other companies in Southern California. We would push each other to see what we could do, who could get to certain places first, who can meet certain goals first. And then when it came to Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, that's when things started getting even more personal. Like, he broke my hand. He had his vermin crew mess me up. I have scars on my body to prove what they've done to me. You know, it's ridiculous.
And you mentioned, you know, getting scarred up by Vermin. Of course, Vermin is Joey Ryan, Yuma, Kevin Martinson, former Johnny Goodtime, and Ryan Taylor. But one thing about you that I've noticed over the years, and I've always joked around with you about this, you're like Wolverine with how you heal. Like, I remember there was one match, and it was Kevin Martinson literally like gorilla pressed Peter Avalon and threw him over the announcer's table, like over our heads. And you remember when your back landed on like an air conditioning vent and just totally scraped you up, like in the Thriller video?
Oh yeah, I don't know how Wolverine. I like the comparison, but I don't know how my body heals so fast. But I bruised like a peach. He tossed me right over you guys' head into that air conditioning vent, and my back was marked up for a bit.
Yeah.
My back was very marked up too after my cage match with Ryan Taylor, and I don't know. My body it likes to show off when it's hurt, I guess.
That's for sure. I mean, you had so many incredible moments throughout the 5 years, and I encourage anyone who just watches, you know, stuff like, say, WWE or Impact, go online and go to patreon.com, watch Championship Wrestling. You're going to see a lot of great stuff. And what are your favorite moments? I remember you and Taylor had the hair versus hair match, you had the steel cage match, and then you and PP Ray, one of the most popular tag teams in California.
Absolutely. But some of my favorite moments those are some of my favorite moments you listed there. Next to winning the Heritage title and the TV title, my top moment would be winning our first tag team titles with me and Ray Rosas winning our first tag team titles against 3 other teams, Vermin included.
No doubt about that. Now, I know you also, you know, when it comes to wrestling, you're always keeping busy with things. You've had a bunch of work with Impact Wrestling. So some people, they might hear Peter Avalon, they might say, I'm not quite sure. But then you say, well, he's also Nor Furnham. You know,
look at how excited
Scott's excited.
I love Pretty Peter Avalon, but I love Nor Furnham. We were there, Chuck and I, you were there on the night of Bound for Glory. That was your debut match against EC3. And my favorite moment watching that match, whenever seeing a crowd, seeing a new wrestler coming in, but we happen to know who it is. And in that match, there was a moment where you get slammed down and you reached out in pain and agony, reaching towards the crowd, and there were at least 6 or 7 people in that front row that reached right with you, like wanting to help you in sympathy, and it was such an amazing sight.
This is burned into Scott's mind forever.
Yeah, because they don't, you know, not necessarily everybody knows you, but when they feel that sympathy right off the bat for a new guy, that's just so exciting to see. That's a testament to you as a performer.
Absolutely, I love doing it. It's always a different crowd every show, and however you can connect with all those people.
Well, from what I remember, that night at Bound for Glory, wasn't that in San Diego?
Yeah, San Diego.
Right, so that goes to show the following that you have in Southern California, because I remember when you came out, there was like a pop for Peter Avalon. No one knew who EC3 was. They knew he was some guy that was showing up, and he was a spoiled brat nephew of Dixie Carter. But when Nora Furnham came out, and then of course he had a nice little run there, and then what was it like to be brought back after EC3 became champion? What was that the experience like when you went back down there?
It was great to come back. A lot of people that were there when I was there in my first run, they were happy. It seemed like they were happy to see me back. It was a great experience to be back. I got to see EC3. He was a great guy. Rockstar Spud, different people like that. So it was a good time. I got to see my boy Eli Drake, so that was always cool.
Yep. Friend of the show.
It was just a good time to be back, and everyone was real inviting, real nice. And if they wanted to do something again with the good old Norv, I'd definitely be down.
Hell yeah, man. You got the Norv t-shirts, Norv's got a fan base. That's all there is to it.
Well, I want to ask you, man.
Surprising. People like the lovable nerd.
Man, I want to ask you, we talked about your first match coming into Impact Wrestling, and you're going to be facing EC3. Is there any sort of pressure on you as a wrestler, knowing like, hey, this is the guy that they're about to push really hard, that I got to go out there and perform at a certain level to make him look good? Like, what type of pressure is that on you?
It is a pressure for sure, because this is one of the guys they want to bring in right away and make one of their top guys. So I had that pressure of going out there to perform. But I've done those style matches before to make guys look good. So I was also confident. At the same time, I was nervous. I was also confident in my abilities to be able to perform well for him and make him look like $1 million.
And you definitely did that, and I can relate to that. I mean, you worked so many years to get on like a national pedestal, and here it is, you're debuting on a pay-per-view of all things, and you obviously
not just a pay-per-view, Johnny, the biggest pay-per-view of the year.
The fact that they chose you to do that, and they bring you back 2 years later, because people pay attention. People in the business watch championship wrestling, and how much do you feel any pressure now, knowing that you're the Heritage Champion, you're the TV Champion? I mean, I have no idea what's going to happen next. All I know is we had an amazing taping. It was one of the coolest moments of my announcing career, because you and I have been tight for years, and to be able to call that match with Yuma and you coming out on top, that was really cool. Like, how does it feel now, pressure-wise, knowing that you're the dude?
I was glad that you were there to call it for my match, man. I love that you were there.
Heck yeah.
But it does feel like a big pressure, just because this is the biggest title I've ever held. I'm the #1 guy in a company that I've been a part of for so long, and that I admire and love being a part of, and I just hope that I can deliver to make myself a good champion and deliver top quality matches for the people to enjoy live and on television.
Needless to say, this past Sunday, was that your favorite match of all time?
That's always one of them, for sure. I would say top 5.
All right. Any other ones come to mind?
Another one with Johnny Yuma at PWG was my in my top 5. I would say with Ryan Taylor in the cage is definitely up there.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of my matches with Ray Rosas, I love. I always enjoy working with him.
Oh, you guys, I don't even want to get into the Ray and Peter Entertainment Spectacular, but yeah, you guys have always had great chemistry, and I was excited to have you on the show, because I mean, like Chuck said, it's not easy to keep a show on the air for 5 years, especially when you don't have a massive budget, and I think it just speaks to everyone that had a common goal in mind, and there really is a core group of people that really stuck it out over these 5 years. Of course, people get work here and there. You might leave, you might come back, but we really go ahead, Chuck.
Well, and the other thing it's a testament to also is the talent of the people on your show. You know, like Peter, like your Johnny Yumas, because
Ryan Taylor, Kevin Martinson.
Independent wrestling will not survive without, a reason for the people to come watch it, when a lot of people do only watch WWE or TNA or, something that's on their TVs.
Yep.
So you have to have a reason for them to come out.
And Pete, I think it's, like I said, guys like everyone we just mentioned, Scorpio Sky, Joey Ryan's been there for so long, and Adam Pearce, was there for the first couple of years. Sean Ricker, now Eli Drake. I mean, Brian Cage was there. We've had so many people go through the doors, and God, it really speaks to. It's been a great experience. What do you think?
Yeah, we have absolutely. I think we have the best group of guys in wrestling. The people that we've had come through, the guys that are consistently there, our top guys are incredible. Yuma, as much as I hate him, he's a great talent. Kevin Martinson's incredible. Ryan Taylor's incredible. Joey Ryan, Scorpio Sky, all the guys you named, Sean Ricker, all incredible guys. Guys who've come through our doors, Ray Rosas, Willie Mack.
Yep. All
these guys are just top-level dudes, incredible. And we consistently put on good shows, entertaining shows. We have a lot of great matches, first-time matches, and what an opportunity for people to be able to tune in on TV to see such a wide variety of top-level dudes.
Absolutely.
So, no doubt you're going to be a fighting champion. So is there someone not mentioned amongst all those names that you want to defend your title against? Or titles, rather?
Yeah.
I want to defend my title against Scorpio Sky.
Damn.
I love Sky, and he's a hell of a performer, and I know he can push me to another level.
That's which title? That's the question, dude. You got to defend 2 titles now. You better start drinking coconut water.
Duty.
Jolt. You need Jolt.
Right. I'm going to have to hit the weights harder or something.
You better add in some Jolt Cola and then coconut water to your diet. Maybe what else could we get him? Some Kanoki foot pads.
Oh, boy.
Well, dude, congratulations once again. When that episode airs, I believe it's going to be sometime in September. Better believe we're going to promote the holy hell out of it because it was such an amazing match from start to finish. It told such a good story. And I'll tell you what, people need to see it. And so, at Twitter, P. Avalon. I know you got some t-shirts. I'm wearing one right now to all the viewers. Pretty Peter Avalon t-shirt. Where else? Is it Pro Wrestling Tees? What?
Yeah, ProWrestlingTees.com/Peter Avalon. You can pick up a PPA All Day shirt. I also have some PP Ray merchandise on there as well.
There you go.
I'm selling some merchandise actually through my website, PeterAvalon.com. So you can go there, check out some videos, and see some pictures, buy some shirts.
Damn, you got yourself a website now? I don't even know you anymore.
I know, man. I'm trying to do big things.
Okay, dog. Well, dude, thanks again for joining us, man, and congratulations again. I'll see you soon enough.
Hell yeah, J-Lo.
All right, my friend. Take care. That was awesome.
I just want to point out that they were calling you J-Lo.
He's been calling me that for years.
I always thought J-Lo was, the big bootied,
It is.
Like,
I got a flat ass, unfortunately. That's what I've been told.
That's just because you're sitting right now.
That's a good point. My ass is very flat. Mm-hmm. Speaking of flat asses, guess who's on the line?
What a segue.
I hope he's not listening.
That's the intro. You can find him on Twitter at TheWalkingDale. He is the host of Dish About Movies. He's in Washington, D.C. He was at SummerSlam, got on the broadcast. Give it up for Dale Rutledge.
I got a puppet.
I got a puppy? So sorry for saying you have a flat ass, Dale.
Flat ass Dale.
Flat ass Rutledge.
Worst segue ever.
I thought it was the best segue ever.
Best segue ever.
We'll beg to differ.
Either way, he's thinking of you.
So,
all right, well, you can ask me any questions you want, I guess.
Well, hey, you didn't get a chance to hear this. Do you want to hear Scott Narver's new intro song that I just surprised him with?
He does listen to the podcast. He could do that.
Well, that's true. You can just listen back.
I can hear it for the next infinity.
That's a good point.
Yeah, if you want to play it again.
Or you could sell it for $1.99 on iTunes.
It's 99 cents. Come on, dude.
Whoa,
trying to
look
make a
at
little sketch
you.
myself.
Look at you over here.
So, Dale, you were in New York all weekend. You give us your experience, because all of us, we were at Chuck was in Texas. Me and Scotty were out here. You tell us your experience at SummerSlam.
Oh, man. I mean, it definitely had a WrestleMania vibe. I'm sure you guys probably said something similar, but, I mean, they made, even Raw, they made all 3 of those cards so, like, hella stacked that it just had this definite ginormous feel to it that started with TakeOver. And, I mean, I think TakeOver is arguably the best of the nights if you look at it top to bottom, but SummerSlam is no joke, and then Raw has so many surprises and just like good ass wrestling that I don't know, they definitely gave Brooklyn a treat.
A big treat. And I see your point about TakeOver. I think the reason why, obviously it was great anyway, but I think the reason why, as a viewer, you noticed it being the best show, it was only 2 hours and 20 minutes. They jam-packed all that goodness into just 2 hours and 20 minutes, whereas SummerSlam was 3:45, Raw was 3:15. So you get more for your money, if you will, I think.
Yeah, I think so, but also
it's just having this new feel to it. I mean, TakeOver has never really done anything with a building that big, and they definitely, they have the costumes rolling out. It felt like their WrestleMania, absolutely. So it was just really nice. The only thing I felt bad about was Balor and Owens. I felt following that women's match without any real breather in between the two, the crowd was like trying to catch up with itself, like taking a breath, and they might have suffered a little bit.
I see your point, but I appreciated the fact that they did do an official double main event and that they did make, Finn and Kevin, they did a great job, but that just speaks to how great the women's match was.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just saying, I think maybe they could have done like a longer video package or something in between so people could get another drink or have a minute to kind of rest their vocal cords or something, because I was almost voice free after that show. It was so much applause going on for me.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Speaking of amazing events, it's time to show everybody our t-shirts one more time. So Dale, I think we decided we're not going to announce the official t-shirts we're going with, because I know we have Pocket Wookie Peter Morris designing one for us, and I think, Chuck, what about Booker? You said we're going to do something.
Working on one with Booker as well, so we'll have those available hopefully soon too.
So we're going to have a Compadres shirt with Booker's likeness. He gave us the okay, but we do have the designs we already have from the Clement W, our boy. So we're going to eliminate a couple right now. Is that correct, Dale?
Yes, indeed. Are we doing a roulette, or are we actually picking according to how people voted?
We're going to pick according to how people voted. Jonathan, if we can get the picture of the t-shirts here on the screen, that would be awesome. Okay, he's working on it. Let's see if I know what the picture is.
While we're talking about t-shirts, I want to tell you something. I have a new t-shirt coming.
What?
I'm excited. Well, not like me personally.
Like one you're just going to start wearing. No, but one I'm going to start wearing in rotation.
I picked up one of those Stephen Amell t-shirts for the Stephen Amell and Stardust thing where they were selling them for the charity. So.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
Good for you.
So I'm excited about that t-shirt coming while we wait to get these t-shirts on the air.
And trust me, we're going to talk plenty about what Stephen Amell did. Because, man, 10 out of 10 for me, what he did on Sunday. So we got the picture here. I'll show it to you guys while we bring it up. So Dale, as much as we love this t-shirt,
you were always home eating a ribeye.
The shirt didn't get a lot of votes, and as much as we also love...
Your beard is a little sideways.
That also didn't get a lot of votes. Plus, we don't want to mess with likenesses and get into that kind of legal mumbo-jumbo. So could we eliminate H and I right now? Is that a fair assessment?
That's too bad, but yeah, I thought for sure the sideways beard was going to make it. Can we just make that for Chuck and just have him wear it during the show?
We could actually maybe get a shirt made just for Chuck, because that would make sense.
I mean, but you know what? Sadly, you were always at home eating a ribeye. Was one of my favorites.
Look, it's been one of our favorites forever.
You were always home eating a ribeye.
Like if we ever have like a soundbite March Madness, you were always home eating a ribeye might be a #1 seed.
It might.
That's how good it is. But right now, the most votes we have gotten has been very close between C, which is the Wrestling and Padres SlamCast one right there, and F, Vest for Business. C is by far in the lead, but Vest for Business is right there, and A is actually doing really well. I love the Starcade, but I don't think a lot of people recognize the Starcade lettering. Rumble's doing okay, letter E. This one, the AWA lettering, not so much, even though I love it. And Teddy Long, that's another one I don't think we'll be able to go with, so we're going to have some great choices.
The Brits probably don't like B because they're like, water closet? Why would I wear a water closet shirt?
I don't even know what the hell that means.
Get out of here. You're the one to fight, you fight.
But that's
a bathroom. It's a bathroom.
Who invited that guy?
A water closet?
Yeah.
You see, your references really escape me sometimes.
Oh, what British people say?
I never heard a British person say, I never heard Nigel come in. It's like, all right, going to use the water closet, mate.
Gotta go in there, drop a deuce.
No, never heard him say that. Never heard him say water closet.
Yeah, listen more. Yeah, listen
man.
more.
No, I'm not going to listen more. I've never heard, I talked to British people. They've never said water closet.
Tweet Nigel and ask him about his bathroom habits.
Hey, yo.
All right, so that's where we're at in the t-shirt front, guys. We got a couple more coming. We're very, very excited to get them out to you, and that'll be very soon. So let's get into Good God Almighty. Let's just start off. My God. Sting's back, y'all.
That was, I mean, we've been getting teased about it for weeks and just didn't know how it was going to happen, and I like the way they did it.
Yeah, I don't pay attention to the interwebs, so I didn't know he was coming. I had no idea.
All the speculation about, he's going to be in the tag match with the Shield and, all those things, and then I just completely, that was better than an RKO. That was way out of nowhere.
It really was.
I love Sting coming back.
RKO!
just don't know how to feel about him being instantly challenging for the title.
Why not?
Well, we don't know that.
No, they announced it afterwards. What? WWE announced it. Like, they did like a little video thing online right after with Triple H, Stephanie, and...
When you hold the title up and you look at it, that's immediately challenging for the title.
Yeah, but I mean, I could hold a title up. No one's going to give me a title shot.
Yeah, but you got to take it from the champ. That's the whole thing. You got to take it from the champ and then look at it. That's challenging.
Dale, do you
maybe
think...
if you wear more face paint on me, then people would take you seriously.
Yeah.
Oh.
Come on, J-Lo.
That's what it is. That's what I got to do. Dale, do you think Sting's going to be interjected right into the middle of a title thing?
Well, isn't that what I think that's what the interview with Triple H on the network was about, wasn't it? I didn't actually get to see that.
That's what it was. It's been announced. Yeah. The main event going into Night of Champions is Sting versus Seth Rollins for the title.
But my question is,
heavyweight title.
Why would Triple H give him a title shot? He hates Sting. What was his reasoning behind it?
Because he backs Seth Rollins. This cements his legacy even more.
I mean, I think it's a great idea. It is odd storytelling-wise. I was thinking this last night when Triple H was, like, creeping out of the ring as it appeared to be Sting. I like it for the effect of that particular moment, but realistically, he just beat that man the last time they were in the ring together, so I don't feel like he would need to be like, ooh, we should get out of here. You know, it's like a weird move for him.
Is this more about continuing a feud with Sting and Triple H, or is this about building a feud with Seth Rollins and Sting? Because I just can't see Sting coming in and winning the title, but I also can't see you having Sting lose every match he wrestles in WWE.
You sure? But why not also, for the sake of when else are we ever going to see this match? When else are we going to see Sting challenge for the title? When are we going to see him fight Seth Rollins? And I'm sure Seth Rollins is digging on it.
It's really cool.
Why the heck not?
Sting looked great.
Do you want Cena to fight him again?
No.
There we go.
Thank God for Jon Stewart. I will build a statue of him.
And I disagree.
Really?
100% with you on that one. 100%.
You're not going to let Johnny build a statue?
Yeah. I'm not a good statue builder, that's for sure.
It's his own time.
You already know my construction hands are not
Where
strong.
did the statue go?
I don't know.
He's much better with ceramics.
Yeah, I'm huge with ceramics.
But where did the Seth Rollins statue go? That's what I want to know. Like, does Sting have... Maybe that's part of the storyline. He stole the statue. So it's title for statue, all on the line again.
Wow, titles.
Titles and statue.
Jeez Louise.
I don't think it's going to be for both titles.
No, probably not.
He doesn't want the U.S. Championship again.
That's my question. Dale, what do you think they're going to do with the U.S. title now that Rollins has it? Is he just going to drop it? Or, I mean, how do you... It's kind of hard to defend both. We just had to ask Peter Avalon the same question. It's hard to defend both.
Yeah, I think that you have to just have him have different challengers for the different belts. But, I mean, I just don't see him... Unless they're just going to have that rest on him and nobody challenges him for it, I don't really see him hanging on to that one for a long time. I think just being the champ should be enough.
Mm-hmm.
I hope it's 2 matches in one show.
Whoa, he could do it.
He could do it.
I think he's pulling double duty.
Yeah.
I think
you guys are doing it.
Yes, and I think that if you want to keep the validity of your Night of Champions pay-per-view, it's always been every championship is supposed to be on the line at it.
Oh my. Wow.
And there's not that many people with the titles right now. I mean, even if he did do double duty, it's only, what is there, 5 titles right now?
Mm-hmm. And that'd be really exciting too, because then all the speculation of, so you got one challenger for the U.S. belt, you got one challenger for the world belt, and you're going like, he can't hold on to both.
And then what happens when the guy beats him for the U.S. championship? Does that instantly give him a stake to say, hey, I should be in this heavyweight championship picture as well? Yeah. You know?
Good point.
All types of possibilities.
Mm-hmm. And plus, I like Rollins when he's paranoid.
That's right. And
I love a good paranoid Seth Rollins.
He is quite paranoid at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Sidebar, speaking of Night of Champions, I just have to tell you, I find it very weird that they're going to put this pay-per-view back in Houston.
Why is that?
Well, I mean, obviously, I don't even remember how many years ago it was, but Night of Champions was in Houston once before.
Okay.
And that was the night that Benoit was supposed to fight for the ECW championship.
Oh.
And I will never forget sitting in that crowd, not knowing what had happened, and all of us just chanting, like, when we found out Benoit wasn't going to be there, just chanting, we want Benoit.
Yeah. And that was when everything...
Yeah, and then you know what happened the next day and in the coming days. So interesting and weird almost that same pay-per-view.
You got to rewrite. You got to move forward.
You do. You can't really base it just off of that. And Houston's a great wrestling city, so
absolutely.
What better place to have a pay-per-view?
True.
Exactly.
Just interesting, as I love that word. Interesting that they chose that one to put back in Houston.
Mm-hmm. Now I know you hated the Jon Stewart thing. Dale, what was your stance on? I think the timing was off because Jon Stewart got to the ring and he's like, Cena's not looking at me. Shit. And then he just kind of went back and forth with the chair. What were your overall thoughts on not just the execution but the reasoning behind it? Because go ahead.
I thought it came off well in person. I mean, I did notice that he went maybe he was gonna hit Cena since he had to kill time, and he was like, no, I'm just kidding, I'm gonna do it to Rollins. Wait, no, I'm just kidding again. So I guess that was weird, but I kind of liked it. I wanted to know more of, did they realize that this was something, were they going with this back when Stewart and Rollins were having a little, social media / via TV beef a couple months ago? Do they know this was going to happen, or is this just happy circumstance?
It seems like a happy circumstance.
I mean, regardless of what the intent back then was to what it came out to be, strategically, it's a great move on WWE's part. I mean, this is Jon Stewart's first stuff after the Daily Show.
And it got a lot of pub.
So much media attention. It was, from a business standpoint, great. From a storyline standpoint, I absolutely hate it. I hate the fact because that match was solid. That was a really good match. Everything about it was awesome. All the Cena haters are going to be like, Cena can't wrestle. He's wrestling really well. He elevated his game like we've talked about the last several weeks. And then to see it end like that, I just hate that ending.
I thought it was funny. I thought it was so funny. Something like this could have gone so wrong. Something like this could be so terrible. You can look back in history with the RoboCops and David Arquettes and all that type of stuff. And this one turned out all right.
Well, Jon Stewart's a great performer.
Yeah,
I mean, and also
Amell.
Look, it's a great way to get the belt off of Cena and put both belts on Rollins and not have him drop the title and still look kind of like he can't do it on his own. But I just would have loved to see a clean finish in that match. And maybe that's just me being selfish and not thinking big picture.
Dale?
I think they don't want Cena to have a clean finish when they're really. I mean, all Rollins is doing is, dusty finishes, or this was a great way to interject somebody who's there that gets to kind of show their love for the business and be a bigger part of the entire picture. I think him paired with Stephen Amell turned out to be quite a boon overall for. I was surprised that Stewart got more attention than Amell did, but not with the wrestling fans, but with the regular media.
Yeah, I mean,
Stephen Amell was just so great when it came to inside what he was doing inside the ring.
He was fantastic. I think Jon Stewart, though, is such a respected journalist. He's hosted the Daily Show for so many years, and I don't think I don't think mainstream media would expect Jon Stewart to not only host SummerSlam, but to run down to the ring with a chair and actually strike someone.
Strike the Make-A-Wish guy.
It was great, too. He just knew the product so well that he fit in there. That's what was cool about it to me.
And then on Raw, he gave his explanation as to why he did it. So, he said he could not stand the thought of John Cena tying Ric Flair with a 16th title victory. And, okay.
I love that. I was compelled to know what the reasoning was, what they were going to do. I couldn't wait to see Raw, and then I see that. That's fine. You get Flair out there. You get him dealing with Flair and Cena's pissed at him. I'm like, there's no way they're going to do anything to Stewart. He's not going to take a move, and I thought, he's going to be put in an STF, really weak by Cena or something like that. No, he took an attitude adjustment.
So dope.
Like a champ, too.
That was crazy.
In front of all people.
God's in the house tonight.
Yeah, that's right. In front of the Nature Boy.
Yeah, what a cool segment.
And that was.
I like the Flair even kind of said too, hey, you know what, we better get used to this guy. It's gonna happen. Basically, is what Flair said.
It was a great segment, and it did give purpose to the night before, but initially in the moment, hated it. Okay with the justification part of it.
Yeah, no, I see your point. That's the last thing I expected in that match. I thought the Authority would interfere or like Kane?
I think it was just like,
Sheamus even.
oh god, at least that didn't happen. At least that didn't happen. But it's just like Cena gets so much hate for not being able to wrestle well and not putting on good matches and being placated. That's what we've always heard for years. And I think that, like, in a span when he's finally actually wrestling well, you know, I don't want to say Cena deserves anything. He's gotten everything he deserves and then some. But you know, it just I guess when you have such a good match, I don't like it, and I think it's highlighted even more because the next match, you know, like there was a big one on that card, Undertaker Brock had such a crap finish too. You know, and
I don't get that.
And I think the two combined just made me like, ugh, why we have to have all these types of finishes?
I don't get all the uproar and upsetness about these finishes. Wrestling goes on forever.
It keeps it interesting.
Must continue.
Yeah,
like,
keeps it fun.
I loved Brock Taker. I absolutely.
It was a great
loved that
match.
And I loved the finish. as
Joey
well.
Ryan had a great tweet the other night where he said, hey guys, if the Young Bucks can wrestle an 8-year-old, I could bring a blow pop to the ring. Jon Stewart can hit John Cena with a chair. It keeps wrestling fun. And that's all there is to it. It keeps it interesting and it keeps it unpredictable. And the way the Taker Brock match ended, I mean, hey, I think it's going to keep things going.
Yeah.
Look, and again, it's not saying it's not fun. It's not saying it wasn't enjoyable. It's just that on the same pay-per-view, right, you had two really good matches that both ended with, for all intents and purposes, weird finishes. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
But you also had 8 other matches on that card.
That's right. Sheamus won clean. There you go. That's a victory for you, Chuck.
Yeah. Was that enjoyable?
And that's the thing about wrestling fans too, is that, like, of all the ones, I mean, no one's talking about Sheamus regardless, probably, but I mean, of the things that happen, everybody is bringing up the way that these matches ended. So they made a moment in time for the pay-per-view, and I feel like that's the whole accomplishment. If people forget what happened or don't think about it, you know, in the next couple of months, it kind of defeats the purpose of doing anything else.
And the bitching about the streak got broken in WrestleMania. Well, that led to this, and then this leads to the next chapter of it, which each chapter is amazing.
And what do we talk about with pay-per-views, especially the big ones? We talk about moments that we remember. And these are distinct moments from this weekend that I think we're all going to remember. You know, I'm getting old. I forget everything. But last SummerSlam, I remember the moment where Stephanie, you know, defeated Brie because Nikki turned on her. Like, I remember Brock Lesnar destroying John Cena. Like, I'll always remember that was SummerSlam 2014. Well, the moments we have this year,
sitting up and laughing.
Yes.
I mean,
the giggling of Taker and Brock.
Oh my God, that's so great.
Was that, Dale, did you notice that in the audience when that happened in the moment?
We had no idea what the fuck was going on.
Okay.
See that's my issue. It's like, okay, watching it on TV, I had no idea what's going on. You know? So
Brock was maniacally laughing, and
Taker sat up and mockingly laughed back at him like, you think this is funny? I'm going to kill you.
First time we've seen him laugh in 20-some years.
That was definitely, I mean, meme of the show. I think I saw Undertaker's head on every single iconic thing that's ever happened in history.
Yeah. I got to say, Dale, I think, and don't be offended here, I think the Undertaker face overtook your meme from last year at SummerSlam.
I think someone.
You know what? He can have it. He worked real hard. All
right. Someone should put Dale's face on Undertaker's face.
Ooh.
That's what should happen.
You know, that face would be saying,
by tomorrow afternoon, that will exist.
Yeah.
Oh, someone will do it.
Yeah, Brock's laughing at your flat ass.
I don't know my flat ass.
So are we gonna get a rubber match between the two?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a Survivor Series.
You think it's Survivor
maybe
Series?
It's Hell in the Cell, but I'd love it to be Survivor Series, something like that.
I think it's Mania.
I would say it's going to be. But do you think?
Here's how personally I would love to see it go down. Don't know if it will. Again, Mania is in Texas. Mm-hmm. Think it needs to be a retirement match.
For Brock, that's ridiculous, Chuck.
Well, you know, Brock's not going to lose that match. You know that.
You sure?
Brock's not going to lose. Taker needs to go out on his back.
Why does Taker need to leave?
Taker, no, this is one situation where I think Taker has the right to leave on top of whoever he defeats.
Why does Taker have to leave?
Yeah, I agree with that. We already had that moment. You don't have Brock beat him twice at WrestleMania. That's just weird storytelling anyways. I think that this would be the one occasion where he should go out with a win, redeeming himself after like a 2-year process.
And I feel like Survivor Series is the way to do it. That's Taker's pay-per-view. And it doesn't get any bigger at Survivor Series than Brock and Taker, the rubber match, if you will. While my voice goes. Go ahead, guys.
Then what do you build up? What do you build up to Taker at Mania after that then?
I think something different, something new.
Fandango.
Oh, there it is. See?
Taker can't dance. Hates it. Hates that he can't dance.
Now that he's smiling, bring him to dance. It'll be a brand new Footloose.
Michelle McCool comes back. They try and dance. They both get on Dancing with the Stars to rub it in Fandango's face.
Oh,
and then next thing you know, they're off to...
with their brand new Apple Watches?
Boom.
Brand new Apple Watches.
Yeah.
Done and done.
WrestleMania 32. It's part of the gift bag, I think.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
So what are your thoughts, Dale? Taker Brock Part 3. When are we going to see it, if we see it?
You know, this is a little off theory, but Rob Schamberger, he does all the paintings. We've had him on the show a few times. He does all the paintings for WWE.
That guy.
I have a theory that man is more in the know than people realize. But
is he sitting in the meetings?
Painting,
He's like
way before they announced that Arrow was going to face Stardust, he had a painting of it to kind of commemorate it, or, you know, and then even Amell tweeted it out and said, you know, probably wishful thinking to kind of maybe, you know, downplay it kind of thing. Just yesterday, before Raw, I saw that Schamberger had a painting that is Undertaker and Sting.
And it's beautiful.
In the same.
Mind you, that's a beautiful painting.
But it made me wonder, and then Sting came out on Raw that same day that the painting came out. So I wonder if we're going to get Sting Undertaker.
I think the painting came out a couple days before, but...
Wait, Dale, you're saying we might get Sting Undertaker before we get Taker Brock?
Maybe.
What? You don't think that would be the WrestleMania 32 match?
Well, I think Schamberger...
I'm just saying that painting came out, and last time it was an indicator of how things were going to go. Could be a fluke. Maybe he just got it that particular time, but...
I think he had that painting because he was signing at the Chicago Comic-Con or Wizard World or whatever this past weekend, and they had Sting and Undertaker signing at that event prior to... the pay-per-views this weekend.
Well,
and I think that's why he got that print made, but could be wrong.
Yeah.
He's a soothsayer. He's having visions and painting them.
Yeah. He's like that guy. What's his name?
I would like to see that Survivor Series personally, but you know, I don't know. They like things to go down at WrestleMania. They haven't really cared about Survivor Series in a while. Now, do they care that it's Undertaker's birthplace? I think only if he cares.
Well, they're starting to do. I mean, they gave Battleground much more levity by putting Lesnar on that show and made it immediately a must-watch. Sure. I think now by putting Sting on Night of Champions, same thing. So they're starting to take focus with stuff like that and having a marquee match and making it a must-see match.
Well, then on that theory, I'd love to see it happen in October in LA so we can be there for it.
Ah, well.
Be cool.
And that's Hell in a Cell?
Bleed.
That's Hell in a Cell.
We know that.
And urine and vomit.
Did you get him for the blood drive? Because he's already giving.
I am going to volunteer to call him.
Okay.
Problem is he only has a phone halfway a mile down his driveway.
If you dress like a deer...
then he'll shoot me, Scott.
Yeah, and then you can, don't get a fatal wound, and then... So
how do I decide where the wound goes?
By how agile you are.
Well, clearly, you've seen me. How agile do you think I am?
Very. You don't have a flat ass.
Oh, jeez. I do have a flat ass. That's where this whole thing began. Dale and I both have flat asses. That's...
Hey, that's enough of that. Let's not spread that.
It's a great tag team that you guys got there.
Oh, boy.
The flat asses. I love it. It's those damn flat asses wobbling to the ring.
Those flat asses are having to sit until they get their tag title shots.
They're not even sitting on chairs.
Horrible tag name.
They're just laying down on the ring on a beach towel.
Oh, my.
Okay, let's talk finally. Chuck, Stephen Amell, you know, we knew he was going to be a part of SummerSlam, but holy crapola, did he bring it?
I've been saying it for weeks. That man will be able to go. He's going to be ready. He put on a hell of a match. Mm-hmm. For a guy that's probably been training maybe a couple months tops to get in a wrestling ring.
Right.
The moves, I mean, look, it wasn't perfect. It wasn't, you know, whatever, but for what it was and who he was and everything around it, all things considered, that's a hell of a match. He deserves every props in the world.
He was getting beat up for most of it.
He took it, but he sold this stuff really good too.
Yeah.
He sold really well, and you know, I think that's something that people have to remember. It takes two to tango in a wrestling match or more, you know, but both people have to be able to perform.
And he did.
Serious question here. In hindsight, was it bad putting him with Neville because anything that Amell does was like, oh, that's impressive, and then Neville just completely outshines him? Do you put him in there instead with a brawler or something like that, so all the acrobatics and everything that he does is then an impressive as a counterpoint to like a brawler or something like that?
I mean,
no, I think Neville, for the sake of storyline, I mean, they did a good job with kind of having it all be, you know, comic themed by the people that are in there. Everybody had a very strong character that was in the ring, and Neville was there to pick up the pieces if things did go awry. I think you got to have somebody that can. It went great, but had it not, I think Neville has the power to get the crowd back on their side and keep them face if Amell had just totally stumped up the joint.
All right.
I mean, I was impressed by Amell, but that final splash outside the ring, I was like, kudos, sir. I mean, that was incredible.
Yeah.
He took it. He went in there, and he was probably loving every second of it. I mean, he's a fan, you know, and it's really cool when someone comes in and it's like, oh, great, we have to go host Raw. I don't want to be here, and you can tell that, you know. Where for him, he genuinely enjoyed it.
And Stardust and Barrett beat him up.
And I think the only disappointment for me out of this whole scenario is that we don't get to see him in a singles match. Because I think he could hold his own.
I don't know about that, but I'm more disappointed that Barrett and Stardust are, I guess, over already, because I was very interested in their dynamic together.
Well, as you know, the leash on Wade Barrett is relatively short or non-existent, so...
Yeah, but I mean, Dale, look, realistically, Barrett had no business even being in that match to begin with, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know, like, he just kind of didn't fit what the whole story was going with, you know? Like...
True.
I'm okay with him being broken up as a team from Cody Rhodes or Stardust or whatever. I mean, because honestly, he needs to find his footing as a singles competitor because he's good.
Dale, do you think this is the beginning of Bad News Barrett again?
I don't think it's the beginning of anything. I think it's always the end of something for Barrett. I don't know what they're doing with him. I don't know, is his contract up soon? What's going on with this guy? Something, at this point, something stinks about the situation. It's been too many gimmicks and too many pushes that lead to nothing except for losses.
He was so
very strange.
Awesome when they had that whole Nexus group and he was leading it. He was so cool.
Him and Mizdow are just these chameleons there.
Yeah.
That whatever they're given,
well, he's Sandow now. Sandow again.
Right.
We just haven't seen
him. Him and Sandow are these great chameleons that whatever you give them, they knock it out of the park, and then they seem to take it away for some reason.
Yep.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
For other guys that you give them something and it's like, that didn't really work. But these guys, it's great. I don't get it. I don't know who they're making mad.
He even fits the McMahon profile. Like, he's tall and has muscles. Like, I don't understand where he's great on the mic. Like, I just can't figure out what the problem is for this guy that he can't.
I mean,
them to like him.
He's well spoken too. He represents, like an international market for them. It just really doesn't make sense.
No.
Yeah.
But to your point, though, Chuck, I think that Barrett was in that match because Stardust picked him to be. I think they asked him who they wanted him to work with, and he picked his buddy. Because, I mean, Stardust created the Bad News Barrett gimmick. Like, that was his idea. So I have a feeling that they're pretty good.
Probably.
Buddies.
And
so
that makes sense.
Just happening to be in there if he had the choice.
And Stardust is phenomenal. I can't say enough good things about how Stardust plays up the villain, and just he's such a great performer in all facets.
Well, I mean, again, this wouldn't have worked without, him and Stephen Amell having some sort of chemistry together. And I think it takes, a lot for someone to come out and say, hey, look, I'll do this storyline and we'll do this and I'll come out on the losing end of it, you know? Like, I think it takes a big performer in Cody Rhodes, so props to him, you know, for giving Stephen Amell this rub, knowing it represents the bigger picture.
Speaking of props, yes.
Yeah,
They need to make that song available on iTunes.
You talk about topping oneself. I thought at SummerSlam when they did the Jay-Z song, I was like, that's brilliant. And then, as if Xavier Woods doesn't do enough, apparently he learned how to play trombone along the way.
He's got his doctorate in trombone.
He does. Yeah, it was
So great to see them over finally.
Man, what they did on Raw with the trombone, and then when Xavier started playing taps, I lost my shit. It was so funny.
That was really funny.
It was great. And Big E's dancing, oh my gosh.
He's the best.
And then both of them trying to hold him up in celebration.
Everything they did this weekend was to perfection. To all the way down to Kofi's celebration after he got the pin. He like started jumping up and down on his butt like a little kid. He does not have a flat ass, by the way.
Oh my God. This is what it's turning into in here now.
Comedy? Dreadful.
Dale, we love us some New Day.
He might have a flat ass after that celebration. Really, that was a lot of strain.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys were awesome. They owned the whole. That was my favorite match of the night from SummerSlam.
It was
At
good.
least, you know, from live audience. I haven't watched it on TV, but I mean, just everything that was happening, and it just had such energy to it. It was freaking amazing, in my opinion.
Yeah, everything they did. And then just when we think they're celebrating, they're on top, they're being pompous, holy shit, the Dudley Boyz, them damn Dudleys.
Yeah.
I did not know that was coming.
That was a total shocker. It was a shame. I'm sure live that was awesome, but on TV it was WCW because you had 5 people on commentary all talking over each other.
Oh, everyone's going nuts.
And you couldn't hear any stat, like nothing was getting through. But Dale, what was that live?
Oh.
I mean, well, I wasn't at Raw, so I don't know.
Oh, that's right.
But I don't think you needed any commentation at all in that moment anyways. I feel like just having the Dudley Boyz come out, they could have been speaking Chinese.
I would just like to say congratulations to Devon on your return to WWE.
Yeah, right?
Saturday!
What's the rated?
Every day I'll watch Dudley Boyz, every day.
They have Bubba. They still say Bubba is missing from TNA since he was running the company. Even though in this week's episode they're like, we're not sure when he'll be back. I'm like,
yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Can we just keep Devon on WWE TV and send him back to TNA?
Okay, let's just calm down. Oh, it's coming down.
Is Spike coming soon, or is Spike gone forever?
I don't know. Let's hope he shows up.
Just wondering.
But yeah, that was interesting that they did mention last week on Impact, like, we don't know where Bully is. He's gone. He disappeared. And I don't know if they did a great job of keeping this a secret.
You could have Abyss come out and play Bully Ray. He can do anything, that guy.
Sure. He can, really.
Yeah. Joseph Park, Bully Ray, he can do all the characters.
So what do we know about this? Is this, are they coming back for a run, I guess?
Seems like it.
Because he yelled out to Titus, he said, we're back. What?
Yeah, do you know who we are? Back away.
Wow.
That seemed weird that they didn't get in their faces. That was, as cool as it was to see them go after New Day, them going up against primetime players, I felt they seemed, not that they seemed weak, like, oh, bad booking or whatever, but it's just like, oh, that seemed like that could have been a moment that you just get in their faces.
Yeah.
And they didn't do that. They just went to the next thing. I was like, oh, come on.
They could have.
You're there. This is your, as Paige would always say, this is your house right now. Go take it.
Well, they're going to be on SmackDown this week.
Wow, I got to watch SmackDown now? All
You
right.
do. There you go.
There's really a reason for it.
Get back into it. So,
Guys, I just got a message via Twitter from our compadre Nick that Wade Barrett has changed his profile on Twitter. I mean, it's still at Wade Barrett, but the name is now Stu Bennett.
it's who?
His real name.
Stu Bennett? Okay.
Uh-oh.
That could have been the new Wyatt family member's name. I didn't catch that one either.
Oh, that was Abe Froman, the Sausage King of Chicago. That was the new Wyatt family member.
Anyway, it could mean nothing, but it's very odd timing that he would change.
That is
his name.
very strange. Why would you
'cause
change it?
We're not even podcasting live. Like, how would he know that?
Yeah.
How would he know to change it right now?
Well,
People send me Weedberg news all the time.
That is interesting.
You got the Barrett app?
I got the Barrett app.
You got that Barrett app. And then, we do have a new member of the Wyatt family. I believe it's Braun Strowman is the name.
that was
Thornton
cool.
Strongman?
He's a big dude.
That was cool too, especially because it's a guy they've kept off NXT for a while. You know, he was down there before, but no one was even thinking about the guy. And then he came out and made a huge impact.
He's bigger than Luke Harper. He's a perfect fit.
I thought it was Snitsky with the Fountain of Youth. Like, I really did. I'm like, is that Snitsky?
No, it's not. Trust me.
Yeah, no, it's not. But that initial reveal, like, who is this? Who's that guy?
Yay.
I love the black sheep aspect too. I thought that was a clever way to have a different spin on it, and his moves in ring didn't all come off super great. It could have been like just nerves or whatever, but either way, he still came off as intimidating. So
I like that choke.
I loved how he choked out Roman Reigns like a rag doll. Mm-hmm. Damn.
Yeah, who can even do that? Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, all the other moves, that was a lot, but it's just like, if you just did that choke for a while, that's what's cool.
We should try that on the show.
Okay, yeah. Chuck's not even paying attention. Just choke him out right now.
Okay. You and I do it.
I'm trying to look up this Wade Barrett stuff. See if we can get some to the bottom of this.
Yeah, let's do some detective work. Let's be private
Logan's
dicks.
going for the bottom now.
Let's a couple of private dicks in here. All right. Before we move on to all the positivity of NXT, we got to talk a little bit about the Divas quote revolution. I don't know what the hell the crowd in Brooklyn was doing last night during the Divas match, just chanting out stupid stuff, not paying attention.
Doing the wave. I hate when people do the wave.
Cut from Hulu. Don't know what happened.
Yeah, doing the wave. It's just it was a Team Bella versus Team PCB. Mm-hmm. Team Bella went over. But they just started acting like jackasses. And everyone's talking about the Divas Revolution. Matt Morgan put out a great tweet. He said, hey, fans, when you're doing the wave and you're chanting other wrestlers' names during a Divas match, don't be surprised when they give up on the, quote, revolution. And he brings up a good point. You want I get it. You're sick and tired of the 3-on-3-on-3-on-3 matches. I get that. But give it a little bit of time.
Yeah, and that happened post-Mania.
It's the fallout from the pay-per-view. What do they expect? It doesn't just switch automatically right then. I feel like... Come on.
And then they were chanting for, like, we want Sasha. I get it. Sasha's amazing. But you know what? There's 6 girls in the ring that are also doing a great job. So let's calm down a little bit.
Yeah. Finicky fans.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of divas, though, speaking of amazing women wrestlers, wow. Sasha Banks and Bayley. Good God almighty. We thought it was going to be great, and they surpassed everyone's expectations.
Great is an understatement.
Yes. Talk about telling a story.
So now the question is that become the new best women's match from NXT? Does it overtake the one from Charlotte? And
common thoughts from people? Yes.
Because wow, unbelievable.
Dale?
I mean, the finish alone was just astounding. And then, I mean, the match was great top to bottom. And it's interesting they let them do the breaking of kayfabe. I mean, obviously kayfabe is dead, as they told us, but
sure.
Interesting that they let them have that moment at the end. I thought that was really touching and nice for them to let them do that.
Well, I'm sorry, not to go back to Wade Barrett, but there is a tweet from him 2 hours ago that says, heading home, not a moment too soon.
I think people are just reading into this too much.
And the British flag. And his name is Stu Bennett. And he's got a whole bunch of emojis with a soccer ball, a football, a camera, a gun, a beer, and a fist. Okay.
Yeah, because there's some British
Wade Barrett
sports going on right now, and he's tweeting with fans about that. I think people are reading too much into the guy changed his name on Twitter.
The gun worries me.
That's a little weird.
It's a little weird.
That's totally weird. Nobody ever does that unless they're changing their gimmick. Nobody just puts their real name into their Twitter like that. It's very odd.
Yeah. So anyways.
And it would explain the sort of unceremonious ending to what seemed like a new thing.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah. Stardust just beat him up and disposed of him, and boom, that was it. That is kind of...
And then he disappeared. He wasn't even in the ring anymore. He was just gone after that.
Ooh, this Hulu version makes me mad.
Oh, yeah, so Stardust and Wade Barrett...
They cut that out too, man.
It looked like they were going to start as a tag team last night, have a match, and Stardust just attacked Wade Barrett and hit him with the Queen's Crossbow, and that was it for Wade Barrett. Neville came down and kind of got the best of Stardust, but that was it. He attacked Wade Barrett.
Well, maybe they're finally going to give him a new gimmick that he can run with and do something with, or he's gone from WWE. One of the two.
Man, that'd be a damn shame.
That would be a shame. But it's everyone's gain if he goes.
That's true. But back to Bayley and Sasha. Talk about telling a story. Sasha Banks is 23 years old. She's like 5 years in. I have not seen ring psychology on anyone like her. I mean, she knows how to tell a story. She knows how to play the villain. First off, I didn't think it would get better than when she ripped off the dusty bracelet. Then she starts just stomping on the already injured hand of Bayley while having her in a submission hold. I mean, that was just... And then Bayley was able to play off that. I can't say enough great things. Dale, what was it like watching that live?
Oh, man, the fans were so hot for this particular match. I mean, they could do no wrong inside of this. Plus, it was just a freaking fantastic match. Like I said, it wore the crowd out. They had to figure out how to get Ben and Kevin to do some more interesting stuff after this. I mean, that's why they made it a ladder match, I guess. They're expecting this to really tear the house down. But people couldn't be more into these guys. Oh, also, interesting fact, they sold more merch during NXT Takeover than they did during SummerSlam.
No way. Really?
Yeah. Isn't that crazy? So the NXT crowd was at least hotter, more rabid for what was there. I mean, to be fair, a lot of it was new. You know, a lot of people probably haven't had a chance to pick up NXT merch in person. True. And some people had new, Finn Balor had a new shirt, and Apollo Crews got his debut and his debut shirt all on the same night. So, some things were happening there that could stack the percentages. But yeah, they made more money on merch sales.
Wow. Dale, I'm curious about, because last time I went to the house show and seeing the females in the crowd, like especially little girls watching the Bellas and finally seeing and going like, oh, I get it now. I get why they cheer for the Bellas, because little girls have someone to cheer for. Like it's what Lita and Trish were previously. So was there a large female contingency in the crowd? Were there a lot of little girls going crazy for Bayley?
Oh yeah, I bet.
Yeah, there was. I mean, I would say it was probably 60-40 of women in the crowd, and a lot of Bayley shirts. But I saw a lot of legit Boss and Bayley shirts on I'm a Hugger on dudes also. I mean, they're just both had a huge representation in the crowd. Probably that and Kevin Owens were the shirts that I saw the most.
I mean, one could argue Bayley's the most over babyface in the entire company, main roster and NXT right now.
I think so.
And it's well deserved too. I mean, from start to finish, Takeover was incredible. I mean, you mentioned Apollo Crews, really good debut. I love the fact that Ty Dillinger was on the pay-per-view, and he's been incredible for a long time. We've been singing his praises, so I'm really hoping this Perfect 10 thing takes him far. And Apollo Crews, everyone knows his MO, and he's been fantastic for a long time too. So good stuff there. Really glad to see Baron Corbin go to sleep. That was good.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll just stay asleep for a while.
Thank you, Samoa Joe. It's hard to tell the difference between him being awake or asleep, really.
Dude, but people
his facial expressions are the same.
WWE is really high on Baron Corbin.
Are they though?
Why not just call Wade Barrett Baron Corbin, and then we'll all win, right? That's all fine.
That could work. That could work. But yeah, it was great to see. I'm really glad Samoa Joe got that win. I mean, the fact that all baby faces won, a little weird. But I'm glad Samoa Joe pulled it off. I was hoping that he was going to get that.
I mean, I just hope they have really big plans for Joe. Like when you take a guy like Samoa Joe, he's so different, he's so unique, he has just a great look that's different, and he really could be a main eventer on the main roster.
And you buy that he's just a legit badass. There's no like, oh, that's a character, and maybe I could beat that guy up at an airport. No, like you see Joe and you go, oh no.
You're gonna let him go in front of you with baggage claim. Yeah.
Put it simply, Joe's just not someone you want to fuck with.
Nope. And they finally changed his music, and I like it much better.
It's better. Another crack.
It's better though.
Yeah, another crack.
And how about
like it.
how about that pop for Blue Pants and the Vaudevillains?
Dude, she has her own shirt now too.
Oh, I'm so happy for her. I really hope they finally sign her.
They have a shirt out for her, and it's just on the front. It's just a pair of blue pants, and on the back it just says blue pants.
Hey,
I'm playing the old man card. I don't get it.
I don't get it either.
I'm my own dad walking and going, what is this?
you don't get the
Why is this? Huh?
the fan base behind her, or what do you not get?
Yeah, I don't get the gimmick. I don't get the.
It wasn't
love
even
for her.
the
I don't
fans
get
made the gimmick.
Yeah, and I don't get.
There is no gimmick. That's the best part about it.
Yeah, and I don't get the. She went and grabbed what's her name's ankle, and the crowd went ballistic.
You know what it is? It's because she's the everyman. She's like Kevin Owens on a different scale. Like Blue Pants was just there to be enhancement talent at NXT, and she would wear these low rent wrestling outfits compared to everyone on NXT, and she developed this fan, almost like like we talk about how people love Norv Furnham, because people want to root for the guy that has no chance of winning. That's Blue Pants.
Here's how I always think about wrestling. Things, right? Here's how I look at it. I always say, if I was going to sit down and watch wrestling with someone that had never watched wrestling before, how would I explain certain things that happen throughout a broadcast? Because there's some stuff where if you don't watch wrestling or you're not familiar with it and you see that, you're just going to scratch your head and be like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why are you liking this? What are you doing? You know? And oftentimes you can explain it and tell a story and explain the characters and stuff. I couldn't explain Blue Pants like if I mean what you're saying makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
But to the random person that's watching, they just be like, huh?
It's the kind of character that 25 years ago would not have gotten over, but in today's society where people love to do what they're not supposed to do or cheer for what they're not supposed to cheer for, they love Blue Pants.
She's not.
I'm working on it.
She's talented.
Eugene makes sense to me. Boogeyman makes sense to me. Blue Pants, it's still an equation I'm trying to crack.
All right. I mean, she's talented.
I went with a friend that had never been to a wrestling show before. She watches on TV, but had never been there. But she doesn't really watch NXT. And I kind of explained Blue Pants as a Daniel Bryan sort of effect, where it was like. It's kind of like what you're saying, Johnny. Someone that maybe isn't supposed to be there, or gets the crowd kind of gets wind of something that they're not supposed to like, and then does it just specifically to like something that they're not supposed to, or something. I don't know how to describe it really per se, but she doesn't really need a story with it. It just now I think they'll make her the manager type of the tag team, maybe. I don't know. Have we even heard her talk yet? I don't know.
No.
But see, that's the thing right there, right? So look, Scott, you said like Boogeyman makes sense.
Yeah, he does.
Other things that like Eugene, like you can explain those. You get the characters. You see what the idea is with it. Dale, you said you went with someone that was not familiar with her and you couldn't explain it. I mean, the best comparison you could make was Daniel Bryan, and I mean, I feel like that's just.
What do you need to explain about her though? I don't understand. I mean, you're saying it like it's some kind of chemistry or biology question.
Is a beard.
She is someone that people can relate to. When she first came to television, she was wearing the same wrestling gear that people in the audience would have bought.
I think it's utterly fascinating. I'm not against it.
Right.
I just sat there and went like, what?
Again, nothing against it.
It's great.
Like you're saying, nothing against it. It just doesn't make sense to me either.
I'm just playing my old man card where I'm going to be sitting on my lawn going, huh? Why with the skateboards?
Yeah.
And my thing is, I don't see how you can say that people can relate to her per se, because we haven't even heard her speak. We don't know what the personality is. We just know that they latched onto the Blue Pants. That's what it is.
People relate to the underdog. And she is most certainly the underdog. And she's with the Vaudevillains, or at least she was on Saturday. Vaudevillains, they actually win the tag titles. I love Blake Murphy and Alexa Bliss together. I think that's fantastic. I love her dynamic. She's a heel when I didn't think her character could ever be a heel. Everything about that tag match was fantastic, and Vaudevillains finally came out on top. No sight of Enzo and Cass, though, the entire event, which makes you wonder.
What's going on with them?
That's crazy to not put those guys on air.
They were traveling with the main roster for a little bit, doing house shows, all that stuff, and then now they're just not even there.
No, they were there, guys. They filmed a whole episode of NXT prior to the pay-per-view that I think we're going to see this week.
Right.
And
it seems like you got to put them on the show.
Hey, side note, Dale, did you get to link up with Rich?
No.
Damn.
Well, there you go.
Dale,
you didn't give me his info, so how would I have done that?
Dale, I have a question for you. If Blue Pants were to turn heel, does she just wear black pants?
Hey, there it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Vaudevillains, I had more questions about the Vaudevillains than Blue Pants. But I will say that they went over really well with the people that weren't huge fans. Like they did understand them from the get-go. And I think those guys... I'm curious, though, do you think Vaudevillains would play as well on the main roster as they do in sort of a underground, quote-unquote, sort of system?
That's the risk.
I don't think so. I think that's kind of what you get with a lot of the NXT, though. I often find myself wondering that too, like, would Blake and Murphy work on the main roster?
Well, in my opinion, there's a lot more creativity going on at NXT due to the people that are working at NXT, like Smiley Cats. And the ideas that are come up with there are really, really good, and it is kind of hard to translate sometimes.
I think also with the amount of, if you get additional segments, so if you're just getting matches like prime example, The Ascension. The Ascension doesn't get to do anything. The Ascension just shows up and has a match, and they show them in a little box saying something. Like, you don't have segments where there's anything to get invested in. The Wyatt family does. Mm-hmm. So you have every reason in the world to get behind them. But if you don't give additional segments and stuff to do and character like mashups, there's nothing going on.
Are you trying to tell me that ripping and shredding isn't something to do?
We were born and bred to rip and shred.
I mean, come on.
So they rip and shred bread. I get it.
Yeah.
But we don't see that. We don't see them going into a delicatessen and taking all the bread and rip and shred.
You haven't seen what they've done with sourdough. So
you're right, I haven't.
So don't judge.
Bread bowl makers.
Yeah. So don't judge. Any thoughts on Finn Balor, Kevin Owens before we move on? I imagine, Dale, you probably have some.
I mean, I kind of already said it. The crowd was exhausted, but the match was phenomenal, and that finish on that was pretty great. To have him go off the top of the ladder to do his Balor's finish was pretty dope. We were actually concerned about Kevin Owens for the following night. Mm-hmm. He's the only one that really had to do that sort of double duty, but he seemed fine. But yeah, they kind of helped him out. I mean, they were just selling it, I guess. But we weren't completely sure.
Do we think that this leads to Kevin Owens being done with NXT now? Or still going to be pulling double duty?
I don't know. I mean, I was worried for him because Saturday night, like you said, very physical match. Sunday, him and Cesaro, very physical. I'm like, all right, let's at least give him the night off on Raw. No. Granted, it was an 8-man. He didn't do a ton, but he was still... I give him a lot of credit, man. And granted, I'm sure throughout his career in the Indies, he's had many streaks like that where he had to just bust his ass for a bunch of days in a row. But, whew, that's a lot of work.
That was the most evil finish I had ever seen to a match. An Adonis jumped from a ladder onto a fat man's tummy.
That's a very, very evil.
I kind of hope, though, that it's the... I don't know what their thinking is, if they feel like they're promoting NXT on Raw with having those guys kind of bounce back and forth, or if they're just trying to appease both audiences. But I will say that I kind of like them being separate in a lot of ways. So I kind of hope that Sasha Banks and Kevin Owens are kind of wrapping up their storylines sooner than later to just be on the main roster.
I would think so. I mean, how long can you have someone double dip? You can't. I mean, there's only so long you can do it for.
Yeah, then it's the next person, hopefully. But with the Divas, though, they brought up, what is it, 6 of them? 5 of them? They brought up so many all at once. Yeah. So you still got to have somebody jumping back and forth.
I'm excited to see where the Divas, the women's division NXT goes. I'd like to see some more people get... Actually, we saw Nia Jax. She's a little vignette for her. She's coming.
Right.
Look, I think that they'll be fine down there in NXT because they have so many good women still down there that can wrestle, and I've heard of a couple more that are being signed that I'm just like, if it's true, that's amazing.
Yep.
One of them I know 100% will be going to NXT soon, and when she gets there, it's gonna be awesome.
Will you tell us off air?
I will.
Okay. Ooh, that's a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
I will.
One of the matches that we saw was Eva Marie taking on Carmella, and after the match, I won't tell you who won, but after the match, Eva Marie, by the way, wrestles like I do French. Like you can just see her thinking the whole time.
Oh, fluent.
But she did the "I'm coming for the belt" motion, the drawing your hands across your waist thing. She did that a lot at the end of the match, and it really irritated me.
Yeah, I mean, I give her credit for giving it the old college try and improving, but she still is a long way to go.
Well, if you want to get belly
way back of the line. There's no reason. They shouldn't have taught her that move, the belt move. She doesn't even need to know that.
The thing is, it takes so many years to become good, and let's be honest, she just got in the business 2 years ago, and essentially has probably only trained for maybe close to a year. We talk about how Sasha Banks is only 5 years in. Well, look at what she's done in 5 years. And Eva Marie's barely a year into her training. She's got so much more to go if she ever wants to be decent. But she's still on TV, so it's their decision. If they want to, we'll find out if she crashes and burns or not.
She should be a manager. I still don't get it why she's not a manager.
Because she can't talk either.
Yeah, but she can. Everybody already feels strongly about her. They already hate her.
I feel like this is one of those things where they have invested so much in her and put her on Total Divas so early on, and it's like they're like, oh man, we can't jump ship now. We've already invested too much in this, No,
I don't think it's that at all. I think that they invested in her for completely different reasons, but they do need to make her into a wrestler so that the fan base can, at least get behind her in some regard. But yeah, they don't. I honestly don't think they ever care. She has a very old school feel to her with how, and by old school I mean 5 years ago, when they would just hire chicks because they thought they were hot, and then they just hoped for the best when it came to how they move in the ring. The only difference is now there's no bra and panties matches or pillow fight or whatever stupid shit they used to always do. There's none of that happening, so you can't hide these people that can't wrestle as well as you could back then when you hired them just to be hot.
You got the network, you could start up a whole new show, Bra and Panties Matches, hosted by Eva Marie.
Well, I mean, here's the thing, man. At the end of the day, if you can't learn from Brian Kendrick, you just might not be able to learn.
Right. Well, she is learning.
Brian Kendrick?
It's going to take time.
Brian Kendrick.
The Brian Kendrick. She could be a good manager. I mean, Elizabeth never really spoke, and she was by Macho Man's side for a long time. So.
Speaking of managers that could wrestle, I keep hearing all these little things that Lana is actually a really good wrestler. Why are they not letting her wrestle?
She's a good athlete. I think it's a matter of time.
They had that 8-man tag.
I think we're going to get a mixed tag at maybe not a Night of Champions, but soon.
The crowd's going crazy for it. That was the loudest ovation in that 8-man tag match. And there's 8 professionals doing what they do, and then Lana just tackling gets a huge reaction. Like, you got to do it already. Pull the trigger on that.
I think it's definitely going to happen.
All right.
She had
I think they were thinking about it for SummerSlam, but then SummerSlam got so stacked in multiple tag matches that they were sitting on it for a minute, and we'll see it soon though.
Yeah, no doubt about that. All right, so that pretty much covers everything from SummerSlam weekend. At least that's our best.
Yeah, that was a lot to get through.
It's our best attempt. Do want to talk about Impact for a little bit because Mr. Anderson and Bram had an incredible open mic challenge. We talked with Anderson about it last week. I knew he did this, but witnessing it just really... He did a Finley roll off the apron through a table to Bram. Bram ends up power bombing him onto about 15 chairs that were stacked. And then Anderson gets the win with the mic check on top of the chairs. These two guys, wow.
Certifiable.
Kudos. Completely insane. Anderson went to the level of where Bram wanted to bring him to, and he comes out on top. So, obviously friend of the show, friend in life to us, Mr. Anderson, kudos, because that shit was crazy.
Bram too.
Yeah, Bram's a man, dude.
Kudos to you, sir. Really, really cool guy, and deserves, I really hope he can use this feud to kind of take him to the next level.
Hopefully.
No better guy to do it against than Mr. Anderson, but,
Well, Anderson mentioned last week, he's like, you meet some guys that they play tough guys. He's like, no, Bram is
the nicest dude.
But he is tough. He's a tough dude. Anderson was like, he's a tough dude. Like, when you meet him, you're like, oh yeah, he could kill me.
That's mostly.
They've been giving Bram a bunch of I guess the equivalent of TNA legends for a while, kind of building him up. So this is nice to see him in an actual feud for a little bit. And Anderson took the win, but it's interesting to see what they go. I think Bram should be going for the main title sooner than later.
Yeah.
You know, I know that we consider TNA like a big stage, but I truly would love to see someone like Bram on an even bigger stage because I think he has that ability.
He does.
I think he really has that psychology for it too.
I think him and EC3 could put together a great.
That would be a great feud to watch.
Bram would have to change a little bit somehow, but I think people would get behind it. There was a lot of great moments on this past week's Impact.
Bram seems like that guy. In a matter of time, the fans are going to get behind him because he is so crazy, and you know, it's like that. They hate him, and it's like, oh, now I kind of like you. You're too crazy. I like you now.
I think so.
So that could be the match worth him and EC3.
Speaking of crazy, Gail Kim not only defeated the Dollhouse in a steel cage, but then she ended up handcuffing Taryn Terrell, and then we don't know what happened next.
Johnny's dream.
Oh my God.
Handcuffing Taryn.
Don't start. Drew Galloway, Eli Drake.
I hear she's in the Flat Out Guys. Just quick.
Hey.
She's got two to choose from.
Oh shit. I don't even know what button to hit. I'm just gonna enjoy that. Drew Galloway.
Hands above the table, Johnny.
They're above the table. Drew Galloway
Feet too, for that matter.
For God's sake. Galloway put Eli Drake through the table. That match was very good, but Galloway pulls off the win. I assume that's the end of their feud. I would also like to see Eli Drake move on to chasing some kind of title. I don't know. I mean, it's not the X Division. Obviously, you couldn't do that, but I'd like to see him move on to something else. So we'll see what happens there. The Sergeant Chris Melendez taking a stand against EY. This is a match we've definitely never seen before. He wanted to wrestle EY one more time, and EY is as crazy. He's a crazy SOB. He's like, I want your leg. And Sarge is like, you want what? He's like, I want your leg. They're wrestling, and his prosthetic leg is on the line.
He should have been. It's one of those things where you got to make it clear, like, I want your leg, and you can't get another leg. You know, you can't get any future legs
in the moment.
Yeah, he has to replace it with like a rocket launcher.
So this is worse than a hair match because at least you can grow that back.
Exactly.
He can't grow that leg back, Scott.
You're humiliated for a while, but yeah, he's not Swamp Thing.
I don't know, man. Now I do know Melendez showed me a bunch of his footage on the tour, and he's great with one leg. He actually prefers to be on one leg.
Really?
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
That's actually why the Dudleys accepted him. They looked at his footage of him on one leg doing things that most people couldn't do on two, and they're like, hell yeah, man, let's get this guy to Florida. So
he's like a human flamingo.
He's really.
EY was doing him a favor.
That's kind of what I think it might lead to be. We'll see. We'll see how the match goes. But yeah, he's really good.
The leg is on the line.
Leg is on.
That's something you just gotta watch. Like,
yes,
that's a match where you go, all right, I have to see this. I have to have this in the catalog of Wrestling Brain.
You know, I can just see this going so bad for TNA too, though. Like, you know, on one hand you have WWE getting all this amazing press for like Jon Stewart and Stephen Amell and John Cena doing 500 wishes, and then you have TNA over here. Yeah, we've got a handicapped man who's putting his leg on the line in a match.
Hey, look,
he's a real, but it's real. It's not a phony thing where it's just some guy like that is like the knight from Holy Grail, and every appendage gets removed every match. This is Staff Sergeant Chris Melendez, or is it Sergeant Chris Melendez?
Sergeant Chris Melendez.
Sergeant Chris Melendez. Yeah, this guy's legit.
He's very legit. He's an amazing person. Amazing person, incredible athlete. I believe that's going to be coming up next week, or this week, I should say. EC3 and PJ Black. PJ Black won King of the Mountain. Really good match. EC3 goes over with the 1%er. And then at the end of the episode, Dixie agrees to let Jeff Jarrett run Impact because he said, we don't know where Bully Ray is. Well, now we do. So I guess Global Force and Impact are a thing.
They're doing some crossover, and there's going to be some really good matches coming in the coming weeks.
There you go.
I know for sure there's a tag match coming up that Brian Myers is involved in.
Good.
So, and
that's Kurt Hawkins, right?
Yes,
formerly Kurt Hawkins.
Formerly Kurt Hawkins. So
I don't know what's going on with Destination America. I hope it's positive because I don't want to see anyone lose a TV deal. I don't want to see anyone have to start from the bottom again. I don't know. I'm hoping for the best because they are putting out good television and they're putting out great matches, and everyone, the guys and gals, are busting their ass, and we want to have them, success. So
yeah,
that's all we can think about that right now. What a show! This is a full episode. I think it's time to call it a day. It's been a busy week.
So
we'll have plenty more to talk about.
Got a tired flat ass.
My tired flat ass wrestling brain is tired. So Scott Narver, put yourself over.
You can listen to my comedy wrestling podcast, Curtain Jerks, available on iTunes and SoundCloud. This week, Robbie E is on the show, and you can follow me on Twitter at Curtain Jerks.
Love it. Chuck Rice.
You can find me on Twitter at CRice17. You can find me on Instagram at Chuck Rice. And you can catch me coming up in Texas again in November at the Lone Star Film Festival. So follow me on Twitter for some really cool news about that.
Party on, Dale Rutledge.
I am The Walking Dale on Instagram and Twitter. You can also find me on youtube.com/dishing-on-movies.
Yeah.
Oh, and thanks to everybody that came up and said hi, or I got a lot of random Dale Rutledge and then a high five. I got a lot of that. So I appreciate everybody that came up and said something over the weekend. It was a great time, and I love talking to everybody.
Look at you, a celebrity. Yeah, a little celebrity running around SummerSlam.
It felt good. It felt real good. I love meeting people.
Absolutely, man.
Get that hand sanitizer.
Well,
get that Mark's disease.
At Wrestling Buds on Twitter, Facebook.com/WrestlingBuds. I am at Jay Quasto. Once again, the blood drive for the Children's Hospital.
Sign up.
323-361-2441. Or just hit me up on social media. I'll send you all the information September 11 and 12.
How's Dale going to donate blood?
Dale's going to be in D.C., so he's just going to support in spirit.
So people...
Dale, you're going to ship it, right?
Oh, Jesus.
FedEx hates that.
I'm gonna guess that's not the best idea, but we can come up with something. I'll be out in LA in September or something.
Well, yeah, make a vacation out of it. Come, help, support, see the show, donate blood.
Also, our t-shirts are coming. We eliminated a couple today, but continue to vote if you want to. We have we're gonna have so many good designs. Hopefully by next week we'll actually have 2 new ones, and then we can finally make a decision on what we're gonna make available. So hit us up for that as well. Other than that, I mean, I don't know what else to say. It's been a hell of a show. I don't even have any music to close us out with, so I'm just gonna do this. We'll see you next week. I'm also in Vegas next week at the Brad Garrett Comedy Club at the MGM, so if you're in Vegas, hit me up. I will not be in studio, so we'll have to find you two, you're gonna be lone wolves like Baron Corbin.
Oh no.
Oh boy.
That means everyone wants us choked out.
That's how you're gonna end it?
I'm sorry, I can't end it like that. How are we gonna end it now?
Oh man.
I think you should play Scott's theme song.
Okay, I'm gonna end it like this. We love you, everybody. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and we'll see you soon.
Scott Narver, he's Scott Narver. Curtain jerk compadre, he's always there to save the day. Scott Narver, he's Scott Narver.